CDL Practice Test, Illinois, General Knowledge, Part 10. Question number 229. What does the acronym GVW stand for? A. General Vehicle Worker. B. General Vehicle Weight. C. Gross Vehicle Waste. D. Gross Vehicle Weight. The correct answer is here, D. Gross Vehicle Weight. Explanation. Gross Vehicle Weight, GVW, is the actual weight of a vehicle, straight truck, including its load. Gross Vehicle Weight Rating, GVWR, is the manufacturer's maximum weight rating, straight truck, including its load. Gross Combination Weight, GCW, is the same as GVW, except it is for a combination vehicle, with a trailer. Gross Combination Weight Rating, GCWR, is the same as GVWR, except it is for a combination vehicle, with a trailer. Question number 230. You are driving a new truck with a manual transmission to take a long, steep downhill grade. A. Use the same gear you would use to climb the hill. B. Shift into neutral and coast. C. Use a lower gear than you would use to climb the hill. The correct answer is here, C. Use a lower gear than you would use to climb the hill. Explanation. With older trucks, you typically use the same gear for driving uphill and driving downhill. Today's trucks tend to have more powerful engines and be more efficient than older trucks. Hence, you can drive such a truck uphill in higher gears than you would use to drive downhill with engine braking. Question number 231. What is the best course of action to take when you become sleepy on the road? A. Stop driving for a minute or two, get out of the cab to walk around, then continue driving. B. Turn off the heat, roll down the windows, and turn on the radio. C. Take some caffeine or other medication that helps with alertness. D. Find somewhere safe and suitable to stop and take a nap. The correct answer is here, D. Find somewhere safe and suitable to stop and take a nap. Explanation. When your body becomes fatigued and you need to sleep, there is only one solution that will work. Sleep. In this situation, you must find somewhere suitable to pull off of the road and take a nap. Question number 232. You should try to park your vehicle so that A. There is at least one curb next to your vehicle. B. Your vehicle is protected by trees or some overhang. C. You can pull forward when you leave. The correct answer is here, C. You can pull forward when you leave. Explanation. Avoid backing your vehicle whenever possible. For example, when you park, do so in a way that will let you drive forward, not backward, to exit the parking space. Question number 233. If your brakes get wet on a rainy day, what can result? A. Hydroplaning. B. Excessive brake wear. C. Reduced braking power. The correct answer is here, C. Reduced braking power. Explanation. Brakes use friction to convert the kinetic energy of your moving vehicle into heat. If the brakes get wet, the brake shoes or brake pads may produce less friction. The brakes will grab, apply unevenly, or become weak. When you try to brake, your braking distance may increase. Your vehicle may pull to one side, or the wheels may lock. On a wet road, locked wheels can cause a skid, or even a jackknife if you're pulling a trailer. Question number 234. When the engine is at operating RPMs, the pressure is built up from 80 to 100 C within 45 seconds in a dual system. A. Oil. B. Temp. C. Air. The correct answer is here. C. Air. Explanation. When the engine is at operating RPMs, the air pressure should build from 85 to 100 C within 45 seconds in dual air systems. Question number 235. Which of these statements is true about causes of vehicle fires? A. Carrying a properly charged fire extinguisher will help prevent fires. B. Underinflated tires will not cause a vehicle fire. C. Poor trailer ventilation can cause flammable cargo to catch fire. The correct answer is here. C. Poor trailer ventilation can cause flammable cargo to catch fire. Explanation. Many things can cause fires, including underinflated tires, dual tires that touch, cargo that is improperly sealed or loaded, and cargo that is poorly ventilated. Question number 236. Which of the following does not have a high center of gravity? A. Dry bulk. B. Hanging meat. C. Top heavy cargo. D. Livestock. The correct answer is here. D. Livestock. Explanation. When transporting livestock, dry bulk and hanging meat, you must take special care when turning to avoid your vehicle from tipping over. Dry bulk and hanging meat both have a high center of gravity, whereas livestock can't move around. Question number 237. You are checking your wheels and rims for a pre-trip inspection. Which of these statements is true? A. Rust around lug nuts may mean that they are loose. B. A vehicle can be safely driven with one missing lug nut on a wheel. C. Cracked wheels or rims can be used if they have been welded. The correct answer is here. A. Rust around lug nuts may mean that they are loose. Explanation. Lug nuts must all be present and checked for tightness. Rust is a sign that the lug nut is loose. Question number 238. How far away must placards be from other markings? A. At least 4 inches. B. At least 2 inches. C. 5 inches. D. At least 3 inches. The correct answer is here. D. At least 3 inches. Explanation. Placards must at least be 3 inches away from other markings so that they are as visible as possible, which helps with the safety of all those around the vehicle. Question number 240. Which of these statements is not true about bad weather driving conditions? A. Driving conditions become more dangerous as the temperature rises to the point where ice begins to melt. B. When the temperature drops, bridges will freeze before roadways. C. As rain continues, the road becomes more slippery than it was when the rain began. The correct answer is here. C. As rain continues, The road becomes more slippery than it was when the rain began. Explanation. Roads are often at their slipperiest during the first 10 to 15 minutes of rain. This is because the rainwater loosens and mixes with dirt, oil, and other fluids that have built up on the pavement, creating a slick surface. This slippery condition will persist until more rain washes those substances away. Question number 241. In your mirror, you see a car approaching from the rear. The next time you check your mirror, you don't see the car to change lanes. You should A. Wait until you are sure the car isn't in your blind spot. B. Ease into the other lane slowly so the other car can get out of the way. C. Assume the car left the roadway and change lanes as usual. The correct answer is here. A. Wait until you are sure the car isn't in your blind spot. Explanation. Before you change lanes, you must first make sure that no vehicles are hiding in your blind spots. Question number 242. Can a truck still be driven if a safety issue is found during inspection? A. Yes, as long as you sign a release form. B. Possibly. It depends on the importance of the broken item and the effect it would have on driving the vehicle. C. Possibly, if the item in question has a backup system. D. No, never. The correct answer is here. D. No, never. Explanation. No, it is both federal and state law that all parts of a vehicle are to be in working order before being driven. Question number 243. How many times should you shift gears while crossing railroad tracks? A. Twice. B. As many times as you think necessary. C. None. D. Once. The correct answer is here. C. None. Explanation. You must not shift gears as you cross railroad tracks because it would increase the likelihood of a stall. Make sure you're in the right gear before you start to cross. Question number 244. What is the new blood alcohol concentration (BAC) for commercial drivers to be considered intoxicated when driving a commercial vehicle? A. 0.06. B. 0.02. C. 0.04. The correct answer is here. C. 0.04. Explanation. You will lose your CDL for at least 1 year if you are convicted of driving a CMV while your BAC is 0.04% or above. Question number 245. How often should you check your gauges, air pressure, temperature, etc.? A. Every time the vehicle is stationary. B. At the beginning and end of each trip. C. At every rest stop. D. As often as is practical. The correct answer is here. D. As often as is practical. Explanation. After your sensors, your gauges are the next best way to monitor the status of your vehicle. Check them regularly. Question number 246. Retarders are used by A. Robotics. B. Brake system. C. Exhaust, electrical, hydraulics, and engine. The correct answers here: C. Exhaust, electrical, hydraulics, and engine. Explanation. There are 4 basic types of retarders: exhaust, engine, hydraulic, and electric. Question number 247. Your vehicle has hydraulic brakes. When traveling on a level road, you press the brake pedal and find that it goes to the floor. Which of these statements is true? A. The parking brake will not work because it is part of the same hydraulic system. B. Pumping the brake may generate enough pressure to stop the vehicle. C. Shifting into neutral may help slow the vehicle. The correct answers here: B. Pumping the brake may generate enough pressure to stop the vehicle. Explanation. If you lose hydraulic pressure while driving, try pumping the brake pedal to build up enough hydraulic pressure to stop your vehicle. If this fails, downshift to use engine braking and apply the parking brake. Release the parking brake before you lock the wheels. If all else fails, look for an escape route. Head for an escape ramp or an open field and let your vehicle slow to a stop. Question number 248. You should avoid driving through deep puddles or flowing water, but if you cannot, which of these steps can help keep your brakes working? A. Turn on your brake heaters. B. Gently apply the brakes while driving through the water. C. Press both the brake pedal and the accelerator firmly after coming out of the water. The correct answers here: B. Gently apply the brakes while driving through the water. Explanation. If you must drive through water, slow down, shift into a low gear, and keep applying the brakes gently to prevent water, mud, or other contaminants from getting into the brakes. Question number 249. Truck escape ramps, A, are designed to stop runaway vehicles safely without injuring drivers and passengers. B, should not be used unless you have already tried all other possible ways to save your vehicle after brake failure. C, cannot be used by certain types of heavy vehicles. The correct answers here: A, are designed to stop runaway vehicles safely without injuring drivers and passengers. Explanation. Escape ramps are located on many steep mountain grades. Escape ramps are built to stop runaway vehicles safely without injuring drivers or passengers. Escape ramps use a long bed of loose, soft material such as gravel to slow a runaway vehicle, sometimes in combination with an upgrade. Regardless of the type of vehicle you're driving or the other options open to you to stop your runaway vehicle, always look for one of these escape ramps. They can save lives, equipment, and cargo. Question number 250. Loads that are over length, over width, or overweight may require: A, driving limited to certain times. B, flashing lights. C, both. The answers are correct. The correct answers here: C, both. The answers are correct. Explanation. Over length, over width, or overweight loads require special transit permits. Such loads may also require pilot vehicles, a police escort, or special equipment such as flags, flashing lights, or wide load signs. Driving is usually limited to certain times. Each state may specify its own requirements and procedures to follow. To learn about your state's requirements or to apply for a transit permit, contact your state's Department of Transportation. Question number 251. Which of these statements about downshifting for a long downhill grade is true? A. The proper time to downshift is just after the vehicle starts down the hill. B. Downshifting should not be done with automatic transmissions. C. Downshifting allows engine compression and friction to help the brakes slow the vehicle. The correct answer is C. Downshifting allows engine compression and friction to help the brakes slow the vehicle. Explanation. When you're about to start down a long downgrade, release the gas pedal, shift into a low gear, and use engine braking to slow your vehicle. Don't try to downshift after your speed has already built up. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear then. You may not even be able to get back into any gear and all engine braking effect will be lost. If you try to downshift an automatic transmission after your speed has already built up, you may damage the transmission. Question number 252. Optional safety equipment may include emergency phone numbers, tire chains, and A. A charged fire extinguisher. B. Warning devices. C. Tire changing equipment. The correct answer is C. Tire changing equipment. Explanation. Your vehicle must be equipped with a properly charged fire extinguisher and warning devices, flares, fusees, or reflective triangles. Optional emergency equipment can include tire chains in certain climates, tire changing equipment, emergency phone numbers, and an accident reporting packet. Question number 253. Which of these statements about vehicle fires is true? A. If your engine is on fire, open the hood as soon as you can. B. If the cargo or box trailer catches fire, open the doors as soon as you can. C. A burning tire should be cooled with water. The correct answer is C. A burning tire should be cooled with water. Explanation. If the cargo is on fire, opening the trailer's doors will let more oxygen into the trailer and feed the fire. If a tire is on fire, it should be cooled, preferably with a lot of water.